Hello everybody, this is Tara. I am making a video to answer one of Marilyn's questions that she posted yesterday on the group Law of Attraction Results. And it was, have you ever manifested your own business? And I wanted to write a blog about it, but I didn't want to write. And so I figured the best way to do it, to share my experience, my personal experience. I'm going to use the word disclaimer here, because it is my personal experience, and the way it comes about for you, if it comes about for you, is going to be yours. Okay? So anyway, let me begin. I'm going to attach a couple of videos to this that show what was going on with me just before I made the jump. I'm coming from a place at this time of working for, I think it was $11.50 an hour, and I don't know where you live in America or much of the world where you can really make a living on that. I was working for a company that had the illusion of being good, and once you got inside you realized it was probably one of the most evil corporations in the world. I was working, I've grown up in the service industry. I've always been a waitress, a bartender, a cook, a restaurant manager. That's been my whole life. You know, it's always been connected with that, no matter what job it really was. Even when I was very young and trying to be a stockbroker trainee, it's still service, and I've always been a service-oriented person. So this particular job, I was a deli clerk. Now, in and of itself, as I grew up, a deli clerk was always somebody that did well for people and did well for themselves. Maybe that was because of where I grew up. I don't know. But I had recently been at a job where I was the restaurant manager, and there were certain things that that were beyond my control at the restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant decided to let go of the restaurant. So I was out there looking for a new job, and I got on unemployment, and I found a new job fast, because I usually do. And I knew the first day that I went that it was horrible. The problem was I was on unemployment, and I would lose my unemployment benefits if I quit this part-time job, because I could tell them how much I made and they would, you know, send me a little bit more to cover the gap. But if I quit this part-time job, now that I had accepted it, I would have lost those benefits. So that held me in. That was back when they were extending unemployment benefits very long. It kept me there a year. In the past, I've always given a job 6 months. That's it. If I liked the job, 6 months was how long I was there. If I loved the job, it went longer. And sometimes I didn't go that far. Sometimes I didn't even give a job that much of a break, because I really believe that when I show up to work, I am giving that business a break. They no longer have to worry about that position and a couple of others, because that's how I work. Hard. So anyway, it comes to the point where I've been there for about 3 years, and I've gone through a big up and down with this company, being promised full-time, never getting it, being expected full-time leadership and skill deployment without getting the full-time position or the benefits of it. So basically it was, even though I showed up to work every day doing my very best, and even though I showed up to work every day bringing joy to my coworkers and other people and making it fun, I hated it more than I could even express to you. I've worked hard at a lot of jobs, and this is the only one that I dislike this much. So it was coming to a point. I decided to go back to school, and during my schooling, I took a generology course, in which the question that we had to write about was, how can the government help the elderly with their social networks? First of all, I was very resistant to that because I don't think that the government should have anything to do with how we treat people and how we get treated back. I know that's a personal thing. I understand that sometimes the latter part of life can be very uncomfortable, primarily because a lot of your friends and family pass away from the physical form, and primarily because in that time we are experiencing an exaggerated result of how we treated people throughout our life. So being an elderly person can be horrifying in a lot of realities. So instead of focusing on that, I decided to stretch my mind and try to come up with a way in which maybe government structures could help. And an idea was born. The idea of people planting vegetables and gardens in elderly people's yards would by default create a social network, because eventually at some point or another, or even no matter how, not even eventually, a relationship would be formed between the volunteer and the person receiving the garden, for good or bad. And that would be up to them to work on that. And I really liked the idea, and I shared it with the class, and I shared it with my daughter, and she kind of like, it went in her head. So a few months later, I am having a very difficult, much more difficult period of time. I'm having difficulty walking into my job. I'm having difficulty not just breaking down and quitting in between anything. And I also was having very difficulty of not feeling deep sadness when I left work. I would often come home and cry. The amount of pain my body was feeling, the resistance I was having, was intense. All I kept thinking is, I want a garden, and I want to surf, and I want to go to the beach, and I want a boogie board. I don't want to hurt for a company that doesn't care about me. I want to work for me. And I was in such a state of financial lack that I couldn't even imagine how I would ever get free of it. I was borrowing money at least once or twice a month from check cashing place to cover the gap. So I was under the gun all the time for $300 to $600 to pay them back before they drained my bank account. Eventually that did happen. And I said, what could I do? What can I do? Please, show me a way. And one night I left work and I was crying. By the time I got to the car, I was crying. I was crying so hard it took me a long time to even pull out because I couldn't see. And then I finally got home. I only live a couple miles away. And I came in the door and I was like, oh, get me out of these clothes. Oh my God. And I was upset, and my daughter said, look what I've done. And she had created a flyer, and she named the business Nana's Garden. Now I got really nervous because it was very exciting. I stayed up all night creating a Facebook account and a blog and all sorts of things, and I got on the phone with Kirk Nugent because for me he is a profound spiritual teacher, and I absolutely adore him. And I told him what my experiences were, and he said to me things like, I don't want to say exact quotes because I'm not sure if I'm repeating it perfectly, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. You cannot have faith and fear at the same time. He asked me, how much money do you make? And I told him. He said, do you really think that you're going to have a problem coming up with $200 a week? I said, no. And then he reminded me that there would soon come a time, and since it was building up emotionally rapidly, that I wouldn't even be able to walk in the door. And what is stopping me from just quitting? And my biggest thing was the other people that were working at this place. They needed me, and I didn't want to leave them shorthanded any shorter than they were. And so he basically said, well, then you'll have to give notice before it happens, before you can't even walk through the door. This way everyone's ready. And other than that, I would never bother giving notice to this job if I didn't care very deeply about all the people I worked with. We were all on the same boat. And it was a scary, scary boat to be in. So he didn't realize this until later, that I actually was quitting the job and that I was actually going to walk with faith and actually get out there and do this. And I quit. I gave them my 2 weeks notice. They cried and begged me to stay. And then they played some games with me, and a girl had just come off suspension for being late, and they promoted her to full-time. And they did that to upset me. And that's okay. It did a little, but not a whole lot, because I had already quit. People's perception were that I quit because of it, and I had already given my notice, and everybody knew it. The store manager came forward and said I told them to do anything that was possible to keep you, and they chose not to, even though they were upset I was leaving. I am glad to be gone. So I did. I had no money, no savings. As a matter of fact, I was in debt. And I went with it. And all of a sudden, things started popping up for me. I started interacting with people that believe in food and good food, and that the bounty of your harvest is really where your wealth lies. My daughter and I were both granted scholarships to become professional horticulture. We got a certification in professional horticulture. We passed our test. We developed a mentor, somebody that has a landscaping business, a very successful one, and they trained us for a couple of months and actually sold us a few of their accounts, and in exchange for volunteering, because they have a beautiful place called Pay It Forward Farm, and they need volunteers. So if you've got time and you're in the area, go to it. And very wonderful experience with these people. You know, if I need a equipment that I don't have, I can call them or I send them an email. Can I come stop by tomorrow and pick this up? I need to use it for this yard. And really great people doing an amazing thing. And they're part of what's going on. And they believe in me. And they believe in my daughter. And they believe in this business. And it's very exciting. So I manifested a business. This is what I do for a living. I work for myself. I'm an awesome boss. I'm still hardcore. And we're developing new accounts all the time. We are actually, most of our accounts are ornamental landscapes that we maintain, like a gardener. And we do it organically. And we actually had a customer just recently get an installed vegetable garden, a nice 2x8. Which is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see all the things that grow out of it. And things are going really well. And it's, with all the challenges, there's nothing at all. It's not even kind of close to what it was like working at that place before. And there's challenges. Of course there's challenges. There's contrast to show me where I want to go. There's contrast making born the things I want to see. And that's okay. That's really good, actually. I welcome the contrast because I know what's up. Right, Charlie? You know what's up? You want to say hi? Come here. Come on up. Say hi to everybody. This is Charles. I will show you a video or write a blog about how the animals have helped me. They are really wonderful. I can't even get over it. So, if you've got an idea, and you've got the guts, do it. What if I had waited until I had enough money to open my own business, I would have never got it done. Not from where I was. My personal experience meant I had to step out on straight up faith. knowing that the universe conspires constantly to give me what I want. And Nana's Garden is growing, and it's going to become something amazing. It's already amazing. The things that are going to happen eventually, it's going to become a Nana's Garden holistic retreat, which is going to be a self-sufficient homestead in which people can come and learn survival skills, gardening skills, also a place to come and relax and get away, and maybe we can get Abraham there, which would be really nice. Sit around a nice beautiful fire. I've already picked out the property. Nana's Garden is going to give birth to Whitaker Community Farms, and Whitaker Community Farms are going to be found all across America, and they're going to be cooperative CSA type situations in urban areas and in rural areas. Charlie, do not eat the crepe puff. No crepe puff for you. I have to make pictures. And it's very exciting. Very exciting. We started small, but we're gonna knock the socks off. Knock the socks off. And Charlie's talking. Okay, well that's my experience. I have a business that I manifested, and I did it with the help of my quartet, and I did it with the help of the universe, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And I really suggest that you go and watch this video. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. His first name is Art, and the name of the video, I'll put the link in here. The name of the video is Just Do It. And that's it. Expect the best and settle for nothing less. And keep going, stay focused. I love you. Bye.